Hey, Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Stop Shouting series part 2 by Coach Amina from Happy Home Coaching. So today, sisters, I want to talk to you about why shouting leads to self-sabotage. Like why this is the worst thing to do in view of the results that you're looking for. Because guess what? On the face of it, shouting looks like it works. I don't want to do it. I don't like doing it, but eventually it's what gets the job done. When I shout, my children listen, right? However, that's a very short-term benefit. The long-term outcome of shouting is that actually you're pushing your child away and switching them off to you. Because what happens when we shout is we're trying to force our child to do something that perhaps they don't want to do, or they don't see why they should do it, or they don't understand. They have some sort of resistance to it, or they just haven't heard you. And so when you're shouting at your child, it feels like a pressure, like a force. You know, we're using force, but in our voice, in our aggression, in our body language. And that force leads to your child doing two things. One, that they quietly just accept it. But obviously they're never going to like it and they're going to resent that. And so they listen, but they're resentfully listening. Or the second is that they actually resist openly and answer back, talk under their breath, roll their eyes, walk off, storm off, shut their doors, all of it. We've seen it all, right? So when you see that, what you eventually see is the long-term effect of shouting, which is that actually your children switch off from you. It's like you're talking and they don't hear you. And I get a lot of parents contacting me at this point, like, I don't know what to do. No matter what I do, they don't listen anymore. And it has come from, years of shouting to get them to listen quickly. But that years of shouting actually sabotages the times when you really want to be there in their teenage years, guiding them, helping them through, meeting the outside world and the challenges that brings. And so by shouting when they're younger, we jeopardize and self-sabotage our parenting for when they are older and they're teenagers, and we really want to have a good impact on their life. In the end, your child switches off because they feel forced. Now I want to talk to you about this idea of forcing. See, you can you can force food into a child's mouth, but you can't make them swallow. You can force a child onto a prayer mat, but you can't make them pray. You can force a child to sit in front of their books, but you can't make them study. You see, the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given children and all of us is our freedom, our free will. And so when we try and force children by shouting or by, whichever form that we're trying to force them, there is a natural, innate resistance that they will have. And that resistance is because they feel forced. And when we're shouting, that force that they're feeling, they'll just naturally resist. They're not even trying to be difficult. It's just a natural resistance. Now, think about it yourself, like when someone shouted at you or tries to force you to do something you don't want. How do you feel? Can you feel that natural resistance rising up within? Like, no, don't force me, right? That is there within all of us. And so when we shout, it's a forceful way of trying to get our child to do something. And it doesn't work because it will lead to that natural resistance. And do that year after year after year, and they just have a complete resistance to us as their parents. So whenever we're actually talking, they still hear you shouting. Whenever you're just trying to advise, they just switch off because they think, I'm just being told off again. And that comes from the impact of shouting long term. So when you really want to be there for your child, they're no longer listening. So this I hope, sisters, gives you a really good motivation to stop, shouting and work on it and understand what it is that you're struggling with in order to be able to stop that. Because what you don't want to do is make this a habit that leads to a long-term self-sabotage for you and your child. I hope that helps. I hope that's given you something to think about. If you find that you just can't break the cycle, or you have already self-sabotaged and you don't know how to bring it back, like I said, in this series I'm giving a free gift, which is a free consultation with me worth £150. You can book a happy home breakthrough session where I'll help you to get clear on what the barriers are for you and what to do about it, so that you can finally have your happy home and feel connected to your children and overcome whatever impact of shouting that there has been. You can do so on booking by booking a session with me, www.meetme.so/Amina-Hossen. Book a session with me. I'm opening up a few sessions for the next few days, and if you find that all the sessions are taken, please do come back and check again, as I'll open a few sessions every few days, inshallah. Okay, I hope that that's helped. Look out for part 3. Inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.